Hey everyone, patching into this morning's video. It's Monday at GazWeatherVids.com, which means only one thing, it's Europe Day. Every Monday at GazWeatherVids have a look at weather for the coming week across the continent, and this week is no exception. Now, we've got big changes heading in across Europe at the moment. A complete flip around is taking place from a pattern that has dominated most of the summer, the very hot pattern that we've had, to something much cooler, much more, well, autumnal really for northern and western parts of Europe, in particular the heat really being pushed off into the east of Europe, and even there will be turning more unsettled, I think, through the course of this coming week. So a big change in the pattern going on across Europe right now. Before we get on with the weekend forecast, I just want to mention the advertising my video ads on my pages at GazWeatherVids.com. Keep playing on video ads, you'll be supporting GazWeatherVids.com. Thanks so much for doing that. The website we're using for the video is westcentral.de. I've linked to it on my links page. So let's get on with video, and this is a low pressure to the northeast of Scotland that's bringing the change across Europe. This is the remains of Tropical Storm, or very briefly, Hurricane Bertha, and it's bringing active weather systems across the country, across Europe, across the continent, really wet and windy, and it's also bringing much cooler air in from the Atlantic. The hottest temperatures are going to be in the east of Europe, not just today, but through much of the coming week and through the Mediterranean, but it's certainly turning much more unsettled across many parts from the northwest. The upper air temperature show this quite nicely. Here's the cooler air associated with that low pressure in across Ireland, Britain, much of central northern France, Belgium, Holland, Denmark, Germany, pushing eastwards in towards Poland. That's a dividing line between where the heat is to the east of Poland and the cooler air coming into the west. And up over Scandinavia, it's a lot cooler than it has been. Still hot through the Med, as you would expect really for this time of year, and pretty much of the eastern parts of Europe. The convective potential shows that when it's through Poland, the greatest risk of thunderstorms, I think, we've got the dividing line excuse me, the dividing line between the heat to the east and the cooler, fresher air out to the west. But even in the west, with that area of low pressure, we will have a risk of convection across many northwestern parts of Europe. There's also showing some convection through the central basin of the Mediterranean, but I'm not sure we'll realise that a great deal. To be honest, I think the air will be too dry. In fact, the precipitation forecast does show that, but most of the Med is actually dry. Away from the Alps across northern Italy, it's virtually dry throughout the whole of the Mediterranean, dry, hot, and sunny. Could be a shower over the Pyrenees, but there's the thunderstorms stretching up from the Alps in towards Poland, and then going up in towards southern parts of Scandinavia. That is the dividing line between the heat to the east and the much cooler, fresher air out to the northwest. These are heavy, thundery, blustery showers coming into the northwest of Europe around an area of low pressure in that cooler air. So a definite east-west split with the temperatures. We've got the heat in the east, temperature still in the eastern parts of Europe getting up into the 90s Fahrenheit, 32, 33, 34 degrees certainly possible. But from Poland west, going out to the northwest of Europe, yeah, that's where we've got the cooler temperature. We're going to be down into the low 20s, or just the upper teens, really, much of southern Scandinavia, United Kingdom, Ireland, even northern parts of France struggling to reach 20 or 21 today, and feeling cool in that wind. The low pressure is still there out to the northwest of Europe as we go through into the middle of the week. The heat is still in the east. We've still got a bit of a ridge up over western parts of Russia, and we're still bringing the air up from the eastern part of the Mediterranean across these far east and southeast now. So the heat is down in the east and the southeast, through the Med as well, but most central, western and northern areas under that trough of low pressure will be a good deal cooler. Upper air temperatures show that the heat is through the Med and then going into the southeast and the east of Europe, over from parts of Italy, very hot, over the Adriatic in towards the Balkans, Greece, Turkey, baking hot there, and that heat then extends up towards Black Sea and into some of these far eastern countries of Europe. Whereas out to the west and the northwest, it's clearly much cooler. Around that area of low pressure, the air is being drawn down. Funny iceberg back actually going up towards Iceland, so much cooler air being drawn down into western, central and northwestern parts of Europe through the middle of the week. Convective potential is going to be in the east and southeast of Europe, I think, with that heat, depending on whether we actually realise it. There's precipitation forecast showing that we've got a risk of thunderstorms through east parts of Germany, stretching into southern, southeastern parts of Poland, going down in towards the Alpine regions as well, across northern Italy, could be some violent thunderstorms there. Showers up over Scandinavia, Norway, Sweden, Finland, all at risk of showers through the middle of the week, and may extend down in towards Ireland, the United Kingdom, Belgium and Holland, Denmark, and going into northern France as well. Then the Mediterranean, virtually universally dry from Portugal through towards Greece, and very, very hot in the southeast of Europe. This is suggesting that the southeast of Europe could get up to 37, 38 degrees. That's around 100 Fahrenheit down there. So clearly a transfer is going on with the heat from the northeast down to the southeast of Europe, and really central, western, northern areas are much more cool. You very often find this when the northwest of Europe is cool, around Ireland, Britain, Scandinavia. You very often find that the southeast of Europe will be very, very hot. That is one of nature's classic sort of balancing acts. Going through in towards the end of the week, very little change really. Low pressure is still there, more as a shallow trough, if anything, but it's still there up across the northwest of Europe. The heat is still going to be through much of the Mediterranean and going up in towards eastern parts of Europe around the Black Sea as well. The upper air temperature show that heat extends through the Med, goes into the southeast, and rises up in towards the far east of Europe, getting into southern parts of western Russia. It's cooler out west, although it is turning a little bit warmer through some of these central countries, actually through the latter part of the week. Poland perhaps warming up, and some of that could start to filter up in towards Scandinavia as well, but generally it's a lot cooler again for the end of the week out to the northwest of Europe. Not that much convective potential, to be honest. It's just really symbolised that there is a risk of showers through the central northwestern parts of Europe through the latter stages of the week. There'll be fairly widespread and sort of scattered showers, scattered downpours. Any of them could contain thunder, but nothing definitively thundery going on. So there we are with the rainfall forecast, and we see that the rain is stretched out from Ireland and the United Kingdom, going over the North Sea into northern parts of France, Belgium, Holland, the Low Countries, up into Denmark, southern parts of Scandinavia, Germany, down towards the Alpine regions. It's in this central northwestern part again that we have those showers, and they will become more widespread, I think, as the temperatures begin to lift up a little bit over Scandinavia. Many eastern countries becoming dry, or will be dry at the end of the week, and hotter because of some thunderstorms kicking off there towards the Russian border, and the Russian border of Ukraine, I should say. And most of the Mediterranean will again be dry, hot and sunny. The heat is still down there in the southeast, still up to around 100 Fahrenheit, but it is going to be easing a little bit compared to the middle of the week. Generally it's a very warm scene in the east of Europe, and it is turning warmer compared to what it is in the middle of the week. Also the heat extending obviously through the Med into towards Spain and Portugal, and then the cool air is out here in the west and the northwest. Finally, a quick sneak peek at next weekend, and it's a bit of a messy situation. We've got a trough setting up over Scandinavia as this ridge begins to build a bit over Greenland and Iceland. May bring this area of low pressure in the central part of the Atlantic through Ireland and the British Isles, possibly into low countries in Germany as well, but generally you've got high pressure down to the south of Europe. The upper air temperature showed it's still generally pretty cool here across many northern, central and northwestern parts of Europe. The heat, if anything, is being pushed further eastwards again towards the Black Sea as we get through to next weekend, but it does extend through the Med, still very, very hot through the Med, particularly southern, central parts of Spain and Portugal. Baking hot there. Temperatures back up over 100 Fahrenheit, I would think, in Madrid. Not a great deal of convective potential through next weekend either. Precipitation shows that we've got heavy rain setting in across many parts of Scandinavia, particularly through Sweden, but also through Finland and parts of Norway as well. We've got heavy showers here breaking out for Germany and into Poland as well. Showers, longer spells of rain really in many western and northwestern parts of Europe. Mainly dry through France, very hot through Spain and Portugal, and then dry and hot through most of the Med. Having a look at the temperatures, well, we see that it is cooling down in the southeast through next weekend, so that extreme heat through the middle and latter part of next week in the southeast of Europe will ease off a little bit, but it's still hot. Temperatures up to around 90 Fahrenheit. Hot through most of the Mediterranean. Will be back up towards 100 Fahrenheit again, 38 Celsius in central parts of Spain, and then coming up to these northern, central and northwestern parts of Europe, it is a good deal cooler with temperatures a little bit below where they should be. So the overall theme of the weekend forecast for Europe is that we've got huge changes taking place, a complete flip around on the pattern that we've had throughout the summer, where it's been basically very hot and dry and sunny. Things that are totally flipping around this week. Is becoming much more unsettled. The heat that's been up in the north and the northeast is transferring down to the south and the southeast of Europe as it becomes much cooler up in the north and the northwest. So very interesting week for meteorologists and weather geeks. Big changes. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.